Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk. Sports fans, I'm your host, Coach Kevin Bull Jones, and I have got an amazing show for you all this evening. You all are not going to believe this. This is the most amazing thing I've ever done in regards to podcasting and talking football. But tonight we got a different twist. It's going to be with the wives. It's their turn to talk about what it's like to walk around and be in those shoes of a coach's wife, holding the fort down, being all they can be, our better halves. And I'm going to tell you something, sports fans, don't go anywhere because they're going to lay it down. They're going to give you football wives one-on-one. After you finish listening to this, if you're not already married to a football coach, you might have to think about it for a little while and decide, okay? But for those that are married to football coaches, that you're probably going to laugh about this because you're going to be like, girlfriend, I know exactly what he's talking about. So if you enjoy the show, please share. 100 yards of football sports talk. Hello, wives. How are we doing this evening?
Hello.
Doing great.
Okay, listen, so sports fan, I'm going to start right this. I don't know if I jumped into the abyss on this, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I know all three of these coaches' wives very well. One of them I know really well because of it is my better half, Sheila Jones. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this show tonight, but I never saw Stephen A. Smith with his wife on ESPN. So I don't know if I'm going the right way with this, but you all just pray for me. And because either way, I won't hear the end of this tonight. And Sheila Jones is here. And we also have Melissa Davis, the wife of Coach Nick Davis, a great friend of mine, a colleague of mine, a man who's been a mentor to me. And, you know, he's my brother from another mother. Melissa, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm
all
real
right.
good.
And last but not least, Amy Chapman. I tell you what. Also, a brother from another mother, her husband, Craig Chapman, is one of my colleagues from coaching at Lovejoy. And we've had a wonderful time of knowing each other. And I welcome you to the show. Amy, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Glad to have you all here. This, I'll tell you right now, this has been one of those occasions where so much time spent talking about football coaches and what we do and what we live through and how we deal with life. But this is the time right here where it's at the point where I wanted to just be able to open the door and talk about what it's like to be a coach's wife. So without further ado, I'm just going to tell you right now, we're going to open it up. I have some wonderful questions and I want you to relax and I want you to be able to talk to those wonderful thousands of fans, some wives, some friends, some girlfriends, and then also the coaches who are saying, oh, wow, they're giving the blueprint of what this looks like. All right, Sheila Jones, we'll start with you. What is it like being a high school football coach's wife?
What is it like? Where do I begin? Seriously, no, it has been a great journey. I've been very privileged to, ride this road with you as your co-pilot. I growing up, I wasn't into the athletics and sports. So I just kind of saw it from the outside, but being on the inside, specifically being the wife of a coach and just seeing the lives that you touch of the young men, also the young women, managers. And I just say, I have more than 6 children now. They have grown. They've grown on me. They're my babies. I love them to death to this day. And they are always welcome here. So come on over anytime. I'm cooking. And, it's just been a great journey. It's been very rewarding just seeing, a lot of these young men being a lot of opportunities that they probably never would have been a lot of before. And just looking at the great coaches, not just from a perspective of football, but just from the aspect of being men and being mentors to them and just giving them some direction that, a lot of times they would not have had. So I've just enjoyed the journey so far. I'm just waiting to see what else is lying ahead for us.
All right, thank you, Sheila. Now let's go to Melissa. Melissa, you have a very interesting aspect of it because I think you and your husband Nick Davis also went to college together at Georgia Southern University. Correct? Am I right?
Yes,
Tell
that's
me what
correct.
it's been like.
Well, Nick and I, we'll be married 25 years in January. So I've been a coach's wife for 25 years. I mean, I actually have been surrounded by football because he also played at Southern. So we dated. So I dated a football player and I married a football player and then who became a coach. Um, I mean, there's so many things I can say about it. I think which some of the things that Sheila said ring true for us as well. It's like you automatically have an extended family because you have to go into it understanding that it's a ministry. That's how I look at it. For my husband, it's a ministry. He has two daughters. He doesn't have sons, but he does have sons, if you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's hard for him to separate the sons from the daughters. How he's talking to the daughters is like he talks to the players, and like my oldest one especially talks about how sometimes he just think we talking to the football players, and so separating that from him doing that and just being a dad at home. But it's a ministry. I've seen a lot of kids go through Nick's programs who you would never think would have amounted to anything, but because of his pouring into them constantly day in and day out, they're better men. They become they're boys that turn into men. So just watching that maturation process through the years for 25 years, it's been a joy to watch. Of course they treat me like
Yeah.
I'm like the mom. When they see me, I ended up being in the school with Nick for, well, let's see, for 4 years. We were in the same school together for the first time.
Wow.
It actually may have been about 3 years, and I think about it because I know it was from Jalen's freshman year to her junior year. So then I was also in the school being a mom to the boys. So it's like having an extended family.
Wow.
That's how I see it.
Wow. Oh, that's amazing. Now, Amy, let's go, Amy. Tell me, what's it been like for you? Now, your interesting part is your husband has been one. Let me just say this: Craig Chapman is one of the best baseball coaches. He's trained our oldest son, Austin, in baseball. Very successful career in baseball, as well as head baseball coach at Lovejoy, head and offensive coordinator and head coach and several at Lithia Springs. Also, he's now in Pike County. But tell me what's it been like for you, Amy?
Well, we grew up together, really. We both were at the same Riverdale Recreation Center. He played football. I cheered. We were on the same teams. I was captain. He was captain. So we've known each other. We went to the same middle schools. We've known each other for a very long time. We've been married 20 years, just sent our oldest to Georgia Southern. And it's been great. I mean, I embrace it. My dad coached, so I kind of knew from the beginning how it was going to be because he coached. He wasn't home a lot. So same, we have 3 girls and he treats them sometimes like he treats the boys, and I have to remind them they're girls, they're not boys. But my kids understand it. We love sports, so we love going and watching his baseball games, his football games, and then cheering the boys on. And then even the next level, when they go to college, we cheer them on at whatever college they go to. So it's been great.
Okay, so with that being said, ladies, I got a great question for you. Y'all ready for this? I hope y'all sit down. So my wonderful wife, I think she's on the show right now. She used to say this little thing. She used to mumble, and then years later, it got loud and louder. When football season started, when August got here, ladies, my wife would always say, okay, here we go. Time for me to be a single married parent again. And I wouldn't say anything. So I'm going to let Sheila be the last one to expound on that. But I want to start with you, Melissa, then Amy, and then I want Sheila to finish off. What does it mean what do you think she meant by that? And can you relate?
I mean, of course I can relate. Now I will say it's a 365, 12 months a year job I mean, that's just how Nick's always operated with it. I mean, and I'm used to it. So I know exactly what she's saying, but it's funny because when we first got married, I think we had like a I guess what they call a co-ed bridal shower. And one of the coaches and his wife gave us and they were in the game for a good little while too. And she gave me a framed quote, and it said, and y'all probably have heard it, "We interrupt this marriage to bring you the football season."
Yes.
That's basically what Sheila's saying, is it's very true that, once football season comes, it's like she's right. It's like you're a single parent. And, Nick and I went into the marriage. Of course, we didn't have any children at the time, but children came because he wasn't there, and it was like, I don't know. I would say that maybe I needed something, I was ready. And so we had, I think Alexis was born. We were almost 2 years in when we had her, because he was an assistant, but he was 100% dedicated to what he was doing. And I knew going in. I remember when he asked me to marry him, he basically told me, "Look, I'm a football coach. I just want to let you know what it entails. And before you agree to this is what I want you to understand." So it wasn't like I wasn't warned. I was warned about it. So.
Oh, you were warned. So.
Oh, you got the warning. Oh, okay.
I did. I absolutely got the warning.
Oh, okay.
What about you, Amy? What did you get the warning, or expound on that slogan that the real Coach Jones hit me with every August 1st?
With Craig, the only month that I had him was December, really, because it was in between football and baseball. So he would be with us in Christmas time, and then January would start back up, and he would start baseball all the way through November again for football. So it was really singly me taking the kids to whatever they were involved in, back and forth to school, parent, teacher conferences. He wasn't able to join open houses. He wasn't able to join. He had his own open house. I think that you just have to be a strong, independent woman, knowing that they're there for you, they're there with you, but they're not going to always be able to be at all the kids' events. So yeah, I felt like I was single almost the whole year.
Really? Let's see. I thought my wife was the only one that said that.
No.
Okay, Coach. All right, Coach Jones. Let me hear your end of it. You can give it to all of America.
Well, as people probably don't know, we have 6 children. Okay, we have 6 children. At one point in time, we had 6 children, all under the age of 13. And being a coach's wife, my coach husband made it a point to have all 6 of our children involved in sports. So with me being an educator, I was also the taxi. I was also the teen mom. I was also the shoulder to cry on. I was the nurse, the first aid nurse. Our kids played sports, everything from tennis, basketball, baseball, wrestling, football, golf, and we're not mentioning all the academic clubs they were a member of.
Right.
And track. So I was, that one person cheerleading squad for them. The best way I was able to keep you involved was pictures and sending you play-by-play text message that a lot of time you didn't get till after football season. So it was just really, I threw you under the bus, but it was just, I gotta admit, it was really hard. It was really hard, especially, with the last 2, they are 22 months apart. So at one point in time, I had a walker and I had a stroller. I had a diaper bag, book bag. I was doing it all. But, I wouldn't trade the experience for anything in the world, because it did test it made me stronger, and it made me see what I was able to do, especially when there were times where I was like, "Girl, what have you gotten yourself into? I need to go back to my mama house." But I would call my mom, and she said, "Y'all have too many kids. You can't come back here." So I knew I was stuck. So I said I had to make it work.
Remember?
Oh my goodness, yes, we were the Brady Bunch, we were the Simpsons, we were called all of them. But it was what it was. That's the motto. Now. It is what it is. So just gotta roll your sleeves up and make it do what it do. And that's what I did.
Actually, the phrase "it is what it is" I got from Melissa's husband Nick. I got it from Nick Davis. Also, Nick's favorite line: "I'm from Griffin." Melissa, that's his favorite line.
I'm from
Griffin.
I'm from Griffin. Yeah,
that's his favorite line. I think
but
that's
it's not just his. It's a Griffin phrase.
That's a phrase.
Oh, that's what Griffin Knights say.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not just him. That's a Griffin thing.
Okay. Griffin, Georgia. I got you now. All America understands that, and they know.
It's a different place. It's a different place. Yes.
Okay, so that leads me to my next point, because here's the thing that I do realize that and you opened it up, Sheila, about talking about the various sports. And Melissa, I know that your daughters are involved in extracurricular activities. And Amy, I know how many times I've called Craig and he is at a competition and all I hear is screaming like it's a concert and I hear noise. And I remember that. And he's like, I'm going to have to talk to you later because I'm going to get in the doghouse if I get on the phone while my daughters are. So tell me something, ladies, and we'll start with you. We'll start with you, Melissa. I want to know the family time. What does family time look like during the football season?
I don't want to laugh.
I'm sorry, did I make you laugh?
I mean,
that's a thing, I guess.
The family time during the football season is just usually me and the girls. I mean, let's be real. Now, my girls, of course, are older. I mean, Sheila, hey, kudos to you, baby girl, because 2 was the limit. I didn't care anything about him not having a son. I was done after 2. And the part of the reason why I was done after 2 was because of his job. I mean, it was a lot, and, I knew going in, of course, what he, kind of told me, but I just wasn't, I was done. I was done. It wasn't like I wasn't happy or that, I just didn't want any more children. I just was like, okay, that's good. That 2 was a good number. We're going to do this. But during the football season, with the hours that he works, dinner would be waiting for him. We would already eat. Homework would usually be done by the time he got home. Sometimes I would sneak him in there and, get him to do a couple of little things, like particularly with math, because he was better at math than me. And so, I mean, during the football season, yeah, and it wasn't a whole lot of family time. And I'm to be honest, I'm sorry. What's your name again? I'm sorry. Amy said something and I wrote it down. And I'm so glad she said that first and somebody didn't say it but before I did. And she said, being a strong, independent woman, it is important. It is important. I have seen so many couples, have issues because these women were not ready for what they married into. And I think if you are the type of woman who has to be up under your man all the time, you have insecurities, this is not the husband for you.
Wow.
Because, and I learned to understand that Nick has a drive and he has a purpose, and his drive and his purpose is football. I don't want to get too personal, but Nick lost his father when he was 11 years old. He, it was just him and his mom and his sister 5 years older than him. And I think that he poured into football because he was good at it. And then it became, it wasn't just him, it became him. It is a part of him. And so him carrying on and then playing football in college and then becoming a coach and then becoming a teacher and a coach, I think that it's just in his makeup. And so understanding that and being told prior to getting married, what it was going to be like, and even dating in college, they have a huge commitment in college. So
Absolutely.
I was dating him. So I already kind of knew what the commitment was going to be like. So I kind of understood it going in. But when she said strong, independent woman is so true, and it's so important that if I was that type of woman and I was, always wondering where he was and what he was doing, we wouldn't have made it almost 25 years. So
right.
it's an inward thing. You got to have, it's something within yourself that kind of gets you to keep going and pushing this far in the relationship. I have 100% confidence in my husband. I don't question anything he does when he's gone. I know what he's doing in the sense that he's doing things for the betterment of his team and for the players. It's football is, I personally feel like it's like, and I am gonna say this because he'll probably kill me for saying this. It's God, football, Melissa. You know what I'm saying?
Oh!
He would say, that's not true. That's not true. But I'm okay with it. I play around about it, but I'm okay with it because of that strong independence. I do feel like that God prepared me for it for various reasons. Now to get back to the question, it wasn't a whole lot of family time during football season, but I was trained to understand that.
Gotcha.
And so
I don't think. Well, I'm going. Let's go back to you, Amy, before we get to Sheila, because this independent woman thing. I want you to expound on that. I want you. Hey, look, I'm gonna roll the sleeves up for you, Amy. I need you to roll your sleeves up on that because I want you to expound on that because we're in a new millennium, and I don't know. I don't know. So I'm gonna let you expound if today's if people can really handle that. So expound on that.
Today, probably not as well as we can, because I think that there's a lot of people that are enabled, and so they expect the man to be there 24/7. I've always been independent from the time I was. My sister's 8 years younger than me, so when my mom had her, I helped her with my sister, and so from that point on, I've always been independent. I try to raise my girls to be independent and not to focus on a man. They go out and do their own thing and have their own job and support themselves or whatever, and to be strong, independent women as well. That's just what I have always believed in.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
We in our family time, sometimes we have family time on Saturday. We cook out, we watch football, but then he also does a commentating thing with a friend from high school. So he's not always home Saturday evenings. He usually goes and stays out from 5 to midnight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends on the weekend.
Well, Sheila, dear, go ahead and elaborate on. Woo, boy. Go ahead. I'm not going to tell you to take it easy on me. I just want you to keep it real. How about that? I believe I said that.
No, but I was just thinking about what Amy was talking about, how she said, she was able to have Craig around December, and I got to thinking, and I was like, well, golly, I didn't get that because, with you, we left football season and then we went straight into wrestling season. So I was able to get him for 2 days. I think it was the weekend before. So football would end and then I get the weekend, which normally consisted of, hey, I'm going to take you and drop you and the kids off at your mom's house. And then I got to turn around and come back because, wrestling season started. So I got a good 36, 48 hours of family time in. But seriously, not to toot, I'm going to say our horn. I like to consider us, veterans. When you got at least 10, 15 plus years in this game, you could be considered a veteran. But, I don't think they don't make us they don't make coach's wife like us anymore. When you sit there and, I'm going to marry my husband and we're going to take a cruise and we're going to have a spring trip and we're going to go. And I just be like, child, should I be the one to tell her now or should I let her find out on her own? Because you setting yourself up for failure. If you think you're going to take a cruise, okay, let alone a trip out of town, but you think you're going to get him on some water out into a different zip code? Not even going to happen. We still still waiting to go on our trip. I don't know, dear. Maybe he could just maybe I'll get an answer during this show when when we can take a trip somewhere. But that maybe that's a different show. But anyway, family time, it really, it might sound crazy, but family time in the Jones household consisted of me taking the pictures, and once he's gotten home, like Melissa said, food, kitchen's cleaned up, kids are in the bed, homework, bath, and it's just me staying awake till he gets home so I can give him a recap of everything that's going on. It's been plenty of times where I'm signing birthday cards from both of us, and I'm like, okay, this is what we got them for their birthday. This is what we're getting for Christmas. Let me let you know what they're doing this weekend so I can keep you in the loop. And he's like, what's going on around here? And I'm like, hey man, you visiting? Sorry, I'm just trying to fill you in. So at least it looked like we're on the same playing field. But for the most part, I was just holding it down. But our family time consisted of just me recapping what went on during the day with the kids, who said what, and that was it. I just had to hold it down.
Wow.
Well,
wow.
let me. I do want to say this about what she was saying about listening to what maybe the newer coaches' wives may think, family time would be, or what the plans are going to be. What I have noticed, and I don't think I really paid attention to it back in the day, but even now, I'm like, okay, now you're on the other side of your career, and we still planning our vacations around day week. Like,
yes.
Really?
Girl, you better say that. Yes.
Really? So everybody got to look at their calendar, see where we can go. You got to Nick, because that's day week. So that's another thing. Is like that day week, that's when you expect the vacation to be. And Nick does these camps now, and he's done really well with them. So now vacation got to sit around when the camp's not being held. So it is definitely a commitment. It's a 12-month commitment. They may, school may be in for 9 months, but this is a 12-month job.
Well, just to elaborate on that, our family time now consists of we go to the camp. Oh, you got a camp you going to? Kids, pack your bags. We all going to the camp.
Look,
and don't let me find a hotel that takes pets. Don't let me find a hotel that take pets. Girl, he had baby girl working the last camp. Baby girl was working the last camp.
I used to collect the money. Me and my daughter. Kevin knows because he came there one day with cash, and I was like, "Really? We got to sit here and count all this cash?" So yeah, we work the camps too. So I'm there with you. I guess that's family time.
And family time consisted of the car wash. We at the car wash. So, we having the car wash. We out there holding up signs, and we holding the bags of money. So here, keep this over here. And baby, you need some water. Get you some water. You standing outside. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So that was family time for us as well.
Wow. Yeah. I'm overwhelmed. I think I need some help from you all husbands on this show. Y'all telling it all. Woo, boy, I opened up a Pandora's box on that one.
And we still in chapter 1.
I guess it's safe to say. So I want to get to the nitty gritty about something. And I want you all to give the viewers and the listeners what it's like to go, when you talk about, Ray Lewis, Hall of Fame football player, talks about peaks and valleys and things. And I share stuff like that with my players about the highs and the lows. But the lows for us as coaches, changing jobs, you can say getting fired or changing jobs, whichever one. You say tomato, you say tomato, or just situations with criticism from the people in the stands. I got a great story. Back when Nick, Melissa's husband, was at I forgot the name of the school, but it's coming to me. It was in Gwinnett County. That's all I can say, and I just remember that for myself. But can you all expound, ladies, on what it's like to go through those? Where do you all fit in that support of that situation? The changing jobs or losing jobs, having to get up and move, change locations, change school systems, having to tell the kids, things like that? Amy, let's start with you.
Well, for the longest time, he was at Lovejoy, so it was 16 years there. So there was, he did great there. And then the change to Lithia Springs meant that we weren't going to see him that much because the drive was over an hour there and an hour back. So that means he got home a lot later. He left a lot earlier, and he didn't have his coaching staff wasn't that great. So he tried to do all of it instead of it just being, he didn't delegate out. It was just him. So that was 2 years. And then transferring to community was good at community for the last 5 years. But when you leave a private school and you go to a public school, his last pay was May of this year, and he doesn't get paid again until August, the end of August. So we have to go 3 months without him. So it falls on me. So that's kind of been hard to do this year. So, then he hasn't always had really great seasons, different places that he's been. So we go through that with him. And then there's seasons that he has great seasons and we celebrate with him. So, we go through the ups and downs with him.
Wow. How do you keep that? How do you relate how is your dialogue with the girls when that happens? And I want both Melissa and Sheila definitely to expound on that as well when it gets to your turn. But how do you deal with the kids?
We don't hold anything back from them. We tell them everything. So they understand, when we're only relying on my paycheck to come through, they understand that we have to budget those 3 months. And they, I think that when they get older, they'll understand and they'll look back what we did and how they may want to make changes in their life later on by watching what we had to do. Wow.
Awesome. Wow. Okay, Melissa, what about you? The peaks and valleys of those changes and the parents in the stands yelling at your husband while he's coaching on the field. Talk to us.
Well, so while she was talking, I was actually writing a list. I'm an English teacher, so I like to immediate specialist. But I'm not an English teacher anymore. But I'm always gonna be an English teacher. I'm actually the school librarian. But I was writing a list because you were talking about the moving and things like this. So just listen to this, okay? Burke County, Jessup, Columbia, where y'all met, Kevin, Riverdale, Shiloh, back to Riverdale, Spalding, and now Fayette County. Okay, so resilient. I think I'm resilient. I think I can prove that. Okay, so I think that as far as being a coach's wife, that comes with the territory. And I think we kind of know that. As far as being fired, I think Nick, from what I recall, the only time that he really was fired when he actually left the school because he was let go was in Burke County. And that was difficult because of the political side, the political aspect of it. It was nothing that he did wrong. It was all political. And so it's like we had to pick up our toys and we had to leave. And then we went to Jessup and, we were only there for a year and I loved it. It was a small town. And then we came into the metro area. We've been here ever since. But it's interesting. A friend of mine, she kind of analyzes things and she just basically told me, she said, part of the reason why you've been able to do this is because I was a military brat. My dad was in the military. Wow. So he moved around. And so it was like God prepared me for this, and that's another reason why I think that I've been able to do it successfully is because, I did move around as a child. So I was able to pick up and meet new people and make friends. And to be honest, I moved from multiple schools. I mean, this is like Spalding, maybe school number 6 or 7 in my career, and I've got 21 years in. So that's a lot of schools to be switching around. And let's be honest, a lot of it's most of it's been because of Nick's job. It's never been because I was wanting to leave to go to another school. Most of it was because he went somewhere else. So there's resiliency there. But as far as talking about like the stands and stuff now, I'm not that person, okay? I could be that person because I can hold my own, but I just can't get in the gutter with people, to be honest, when it's stuff like that. Now, his mom and his sister totally different. Because guess what, Kevin? They from Griffin. So they are totally different. You know, they do get kind of upset about it, but I think Nick's kind of trained me not to kind of listen to it. You know, I always try to separate myself. I try to sit off. I don't like to sit around a bunch of, people who just look like they just, in for it. Because let's be real, a lot of them are in for it, but their own child. It's not about the team, it's about their kid. And
That's
so
right.
then you get that in the stand. And so I just try to separate myself from that. I try not to be too friendly with a lot of parents, I just try to, I'm the coach's wife. I'm there to support him. I'm there to support the team. I'm not trying to be friends with anybody because I don't want that to look like I'm showing favoritism or that you're going to use me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really get close to a lot of the people. Now, Burke County, we were pretty close, but I was young. I mean, this was fresh. We were just getting married. And that probably was the last really stronghold I had with a group of coaches, with their wives and parents, and was Burke County because again I was young. But I mean, I think that I handle it pretty well as far as those kind of things happen because I kind of separate myself from it. I'm not there for the parents. I'm there for my husband.
Wow. Well, whoo, boy, Amy and Melissa, I tell you, oh man. I'm hot in this seat. So, Sheila, it's your turn, and let's talk about your journey with this. Let's answer those. Let me know what you think expound on what both Melissa and Amy talked about.
Well, let me start off and say, Melissa, I hope to get to where you are one day, but God's still working on me. He's still working on me. Okay, we going through a journey. So besides our children, I'm protective over my husband. Point blank, period. I'm his ride or die. Okay. I'm his Bonnie. Okay. Now, at first, when I first was introduced to the whole coaching, and I'd go to the game and I would sit back, and I'm looking, and I was just like, oh, these parents kind of aggressive. And I'm just watching, and just over the years, and then every so often, you hear, well, coach this, coach that. Well, then my husband became the head coach. So I'll go to the game, all 6 kids, once again, all 6 kids are there. And I'm sitting there, and I guess, of course, nobody knew who I was. So of course I'm low key. And then I had to go put on my little hat, and I'm sitting back with the hoodie on because now I'm watching, because now I'm hearing, oh, the head coach, this, the head, and them ears go up. I'm like, the head coach. Hold on, now what we saying about the head coach? And I tell Kevin all the time, I said, look now, you need to do something with these sideline coaches. And I will be the first to say, I have stepped out of my shell a couple of times, and I have voiced my opinion, to a lot of the sideline coaches and some of the parents. They got to know who I was. A lot of times they would go to him and say, there was this lady in the stand, and she was just going in on someone. And he was like, what she look like? He was like, he'd come home, babe, you know what parents said? So let me go and tell you right now, that was me. It was. I just gonna have to let them know. I had to let them know. And then don't get me started. Don't let my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law be there. Oh. There's been a few times he's come home and he's like, I had some parents say it was some women up in the, that was us. That was guilty. We had to go and lay it down, but like I said, I'm real protective. I'm real protective because I guess for me, I'm on the inside. So I see, he coming home after working, 8-10 hours a day, then football practice, and then you have a game, and then 1-2 o'clock in the morning, I'm calling him because he's still not home, either because we have to take kids home, he waiting on parents to come, and they have to talk, and they have to go through what happened during the game. And there's times I'm sitting up and I've had my little pad. Now I have my cell phone, and I write my little notes down. So when he come home, I'm like, look, number so-and-so, I don't know what he did, but I know he didn't run that play right. So I need you to fix that because I didn't come out here for this. I'm good for I didn't co-sign for this. And he's like, baby, no, baby, nothing. If I got to work all day and drag all 6 of our kids out there. We need to go and get it right. You want me to tell him? No, dear. Okay, I think you need to go ahead and handle that. So that's the kind of conversations we have. So I'm protective. You know, there's been time he's come home from the game and he looks tired. He looks defeated, you know, and then to hear, well, so-and-so and this, no, that's not what you want to do. And I try to tell, I said, I'm working on it. So like I said, Melissa, I'm trying to get to where you are. I know I'm not there yet. God knows what he's working with, you know. So we're going to get there maybe one day. But right now, I'm that show out wife. I'm the show out wife. Now I'm not going to get all ignorant and but I'm gonna pull you to the side and say, "Come here." I don't think that's what you want to do right here. That ain't what that really ain't what you that ain't what you want to do. And then I'll politely get back up and I'll go to my seat and they'll turn around and look at me. Oh, I'm looking right back at you. I need you to feel my eyes through the back of your head. Yes, I'm looking at you. Don't do that. So that's
kind of why I sit. I try to sit off so I won't hear because I know there's shadows.
I sit to the back. I sit off by myself.
I sit off.
Me too. But you know, like I said, sometimes I'll politely. There's been times I've gone to a game and I politely walk down. Excuse me. Look, don't do that. That ain't what you want to do. That ain't what you don't want to do that. Bro. Don't do that.
Amy,
and I politely get back up.
Now, Amy, I've seen the look on. You know, we were together at Lovejoy. And Amy, I remember that look. Now you're smiling right now, but I remember the eyes.
I went off on a parent.
The eyes were unbelievable.
I did. I went off on a parent. It was the Kyle Lacey's dad because he thought that Kyle wasn't. He thought that he wasn't getting enough quarterback time, and y'all were playing Monday's Mill, and he wanted to take him over to Monday's Mill and let him play at Monday's Mill. And I said, you can take him over there, but there's a starter above him. He's not going to play. And they don't understand how much our husband spends with these children. They spend more time with the football players more than they spend with their own children. And that's just what's aggravating because the parents don't think about that. So, yeah, I've had my moments where I've said stuff to parents, probably not. It wasn't anything ugly, but I do. I take up for my husband, too.
Yeah, we're protective. You know, because there's been times I'm like, I tell you what, how about you go down to the county office, you go get as a lay coach, and then you go on that sideline. Till then, sit down somewhere. Don't be on that sideline coaching, and then you wrong. Don't sideline coach and then be wrong. Now, I'm not a football guru, but I know some things. And one thing I do know, you know, as my husband like to say, what you ain't going to do is sit here and talk about mine. We're not going to do that.
Melissa, I remember being at Nick's game, sitting with you, the most amazing thing. And I think I came home and I told Sheila, you're not going to believe this. I was when Nick went up to Gwinnett County to Shiloh, and I took over at Riverdale as head coach, and it was an off week for us. And I went to watch, and I came back. I never forget this. I mean, this is first year Nick is there trying to get things right, you know, working with different kids and they're trying to learn him and everything. And I watched this one parent act up so much in the stands. And the crazy part about it, there were a lot of people there, but I'm not going to say he was the only one acting up, just being very visual with his disgust. But he was the most verbal, and everybody saw him. And I kept looking at this guy, and all of a sudden, I kept looking, and I think I said, wait a minute. Remember, Melissa? I said, wait a minute. I know him. That's my former teammate from high school. I was too embarrassed. I was too embarrassed that this was one of my teammates. I hadn't seen him since high school, but this is one of my former teammates from high school. And he was cutting up. He was cutting up so bad. And I was just like, I can't take this. And I was getting mad. And of course, Nick didn't know what was going on, but just to know the stands were, I call it alive. And you were cool as ice. You were cold as ice.
I don't get in the entanglements because I know what I got and I know who he is, you know. And a lot of it's just talk, just like Sheila was saying. It's like you were sideline coach, and so Nick, you know, kind of prepared me for that. And I know if I say anything, he's not gonna like it, you know, because he kind of like that. You know how Nick is. Yeah, you got to really push him. You know, he don't play the radio, but you got to really push him to make him say. And so I kind of take, because I am a verbal person. I don't get it twisted. But when it comes to that, I've kind of taken his lead in how he would react, how he would handle things. He would tell parents, we're not gonna do that here. Like, you won't talk to me. Where my office hours are. You know what I'm saying? So I've kind of taken that kind of lead. But yeah, I just don't get into that. I mean, I don't down anybody who does it because, hey, you got to do what you got to do. But I just don't see where that benefits me. I'm just going to just, talk. So that's why, again, I try not to even sit amongst those type of people because I know where it would escalate because it would be difficult not to defend my husband. Correct. But so that's why I kind of sit off and hopefully I honestly hope that they don't know who I am.
Okay.
Personally, that's just kind of how I've always kind of operated. They do end up knowing who I am. And I see, like, when I come in the stadium, they be watching me, but I'm like, I'm not going to be your friend. I'm going to sit over here with my family. We're going to watch this game. I'm going to let Nick introduce me to you. But other than that, that's where the relationship ends. I'm not, that's his job. Wow. That's his job.
I think it's very important for what you all are talking about, all three of you, because I'm seeing now a lot of coaches that come from the rec league or are starting to gravitate into high school coaching, and there needs to be a mentorship for husband and wives of the coaches and their wives of just how this thing works. Yeah, I know USA Football used to have some very good camps, and a couple of them, Nick and I did work, and Craig, and we worked them. Amy, your husband as well. We all did stuff like that. But just, I'm talking about for the wives, for the women who that don't know what they're getting into, and that was the whole premise of having the show, because there's so many layers to this, and I know that people don't get it all, but there's some things they have to get. The good parts about it, the wins, the perks of being a coach's wife, those kind of go without saying, because I really want people to hear you all's stories, your interests. What is it that you all like to do? Because really, you got three jobs. You deal with us, the husbands, and you deal with the kids. But then your time. What does your time consist of? Sheila, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Amy and Melissa.
My time. I'm still writing down the hours so I can cash in later. we still have kids at the house. We got
well, no, we do sneak away. We do sneak away sometimes.
Now I'm not gonna lie, we do sneak away. But for some reason, your children always manage to call my phone. Mama, what you doing? Where you at? What daddy doing? And I'm just like, Lord, that I can't get away for anything. But my time, and I'm almost ashamed to say, my time in my room with my door closed. It's funny. I just had my birthday, and my son come to me and he was like, Mom, for your birthday, what do you want to do? You want to go in your room and not have us bother you? And I just felt so guilty, like, oh my goodness, he knows. I said, well, if that's what you want to do, I'll take it. Of course, it didn't happen, but I just try to get away. When they were younger, my time consisted of, I literally would go and just run into the bathroom. Just run into, and won't even just be sitting in there. And then I'm seeing fingers underneath the door. Mommy, what you doing? So that was the end of my time. But I'm still waiting to cash in. So I get my husband. He kidnaps me every once in a while, so we'll manage to get away. But I'm still waiting to cash in. So, dear, I will be cashing in, and I think I got about 6 months worth of time saved up, so I'll be cashing those in shortly.
Absolutely, Coach. Amy, your turn.
I haven't found out my time yet either. I have an hour to 2 hours in the afternoon when I leave work before I have to go pick up one from cross country. One goes with Craig now to Pike County, so I don't see her till the afternoon. So I still don't have a whole bunch of time myself yet either.
Wow. What about you, Melissa? Wow.
Well, I just really feel like I'm the old maid in this.
Yeah, because your kids are gone. They're gone.
Yeah, because Alexis, she'll be 23 in October, and Jalen just started her sophomore year at Georgia Southern. She just turned 19 a couple of days ago. So yes, when she
Empty
was
nest,
about the
kind of
time-
halfway.
I'm
Halfway
sorry.
empty nest. Halfway empty nesters.
Yeah, well, because Alexis works, and so she's still in the house, but like, right, she's not home right now. So like, when Jalen goes to school, and I come home and I round that corner and I see Alexis' car is not here, I'm like, yes, Lord, I got the house to myself. So that's my time. And so Sheila, you gonna have it one day if he's still working. Y'all got some young children, so I don't know. Y'all might be retiring around the same time, so you may not have that luxury. But with
the way I figured it,
Nick just got home not too long ago. So when lately I've been coming home ever since Jalen went back. It's been pretty blissful. But as far as my time, I'm like, Sheila, I just go in my room. You know, we got our own televisions, and you know, I go in my room, I watch my TV. Nick's up here watching his TV. The girls are in their rooms with the door shut. Think about teenage girls. They like their rooms. It's like their apartments. They go in there and shut. And so I get my alone time, that, you know, and I've earned that over the years. Of course, like Sheila, you know, when you have toddlers and then your husband is a football coach, there, you know, you're the sole parent. And so you don't get a lot of that alone time, but you get it back once they get older.
Well,
get it back.
And that's
doing
the math. I was doing the math, Melissa. You know, I'm a math teacher, so I was doing the math. And the way I calculated, you know, I said, okay, well, you know, we got 3.5 out the house. So I say half because we got one, you know, Lord, you always got that one. So we got that one she's still finding herself, but we got 3.5 that are out the house.
And we ain't got
trying to find her. She's trying to find herself, and then we got the 8th and the 9th grader home, so they like to close their doors. But I was telling Kevin, everybody's like, "Oh, you're almost there," and I said, "Well, by the time Carmen and Chase get out of school, the older ones are gonna be in their 30s, so they might be married with grandkids." I said, "Man, we never gonna have an empty house." And then we got the dogs, and nobody want to take the dogs with them when they leave. So I said, "We had the dogs looking at us." I told Kevin, I said, "Look, here's the game plan. When they leave, we're buying a Winnebago. I don't want a house. I'm buying a Winnebago, and we're going to drive to visit them. We're going to park in the street. We're going to park in the Walmart parking lot, because no, you can't come visit us. We're going to come visit you." That's how we going to do it. That's my game plan. I don't know if it's going to work out that way, but that's my vision. That's my vision I see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to being somewhat of an empty nester. Maybe what, I don't know. I don't see it right now. My daughter says she's going to Clayton State so she can come home and eat dinner every night. So she already has a game plan. I can't win.
Look, just hearing all this all over again, I'm having an out-of-body experience, because I thought I was dreaming when I heard it. And I'm hearing it again live on a podcast show. I tell you, Stephen A. Smith never brought his wife on his show in ESPN, so I don't know where this is going. But I tell you what, sports fans, this is amazing stuff I'm hearing. Okay, I got 2 last questions for you. One of them is, I want to know, on a scale of 1 to 10. I mean, excuse me, what on a scale of all the time, or none of the time, or somewhere in between. Do your husbands ever get in the way when they're at home? Like, they don't know what's going on?
Pick me. Can I go first? Please pick me.
Okay, you go first.
Oh, goodness. How do I know my husband is home? Because I can't find my dishes. He done put a dish where they don't belong. How do I know my husband is home? Because I see clothes. I got tennis shoes. Oh, Jesus, let me tell you. Baby, I love you. But I tell them, you just in the way sometimes. Just go sit down. I have to tell them like I do the little kids when I was doing elementary school. Just sit down, put a bubble in your mouth. Just sit down. Don't touch anything. I got it. You want me to help you? No, don't help me. I got it. Now, am I tired? Yeah, I don't want to cook dinner tonight. But if he helps out, oh Jesus, I love you though, and I know he means well. I know he does, but yeah, baby, he in the way. He gets in the way. He has good intentions. His heart is in the right place.
Good intention.
But when I tell you, I can't find them. We just found a dish the other day we had been looking for, and unfortunately, everybody in the house is short, and it was up top, so we know we didn't put it up there. So we were like, we've been looking for this, and the kids were like, "You know who put it up there, Mama?" I said, "I gotta keep this man out my kitchen. We can't find anything."
Okay, Melissa, we gonna go to you, and then we gonna go to Amy. Melissa, does Nick get in the way sometimes or quite a bit? Which one is it?
Okay, no, I would say no. He really don't get in my way. I mean, I can't relate to what she's saying because you work with Nick. You know Nick pretty well. Nick's pretty quiet. Nick come in as long as he can relax. With a little, he's fine. He gonna sit in front of that TV and he's fine. So he really don't bother me. Like he just walked in. Y'all didn't even know he came in the house.
No, we didn't.
He walked in and went and jumped on the lawnmower.
Y'all need to write a book.
He said y'all need to write a book.
Write a book.
No, he really don't get in my way. So what was the scale? It was.
Was he here up high with it? Does he sometimes get in the way, or he's very little, almost never? Of course,
sometimes he gets in the way because like I work just like he does, but
does he try to cook
longer hours? He really don't do a whole lot of cooking, but a meal is what he expects. So I would say if that's one thing, I really do need to come home and make sure he got something to eat. But other than that, I don't have the issue that Sheila got with you just leaving your shoes and putting dishes up and stuff like that. No, I don't have them kind of problems.
Oh, boy, I tell you, I'm gonna hear about this.
Well, we are, how long have y'all been married? Because me and Nick on 25 in January.
Oh, well.
Hold on. You got some fingers, dear? How many fingers you? I need some fingers. I know it's more than the 10 I have. You got some more fingers?
We almost near 20 years now.
Y'all almost on 20?
Almost.
Okay.
Okay, Amy. Your turn, Amy.
I would say sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, he'll come home and I think he's oblivious to things that need to be done. Like if there's something on the floor that needs to be picked up, he'll step over and not even see it. So things like that. Yeah, I think that he's just oblivious sometimes to things that need to be done. He must be thinking of a game plan or whatever.
He's thinking about a game plan. Yeah. I definitely understand where he's coming from, and I've just been told sometimes that I'm just in the way, and it's just amazing because I found out there's a whole different culture going on in the house that's going on, and I have no idea what is going on.
Now, I think that Nick can relate to that for sure.
Well, Amy,
when they're not, when y'all aren't in the house and we are dealing with the kids, there is a different language that I think we speak. And then y'all come in and y'all looking like, I know he has done that a lot. Like, what's going on? He asks me questions, don't ask the girls questions. All the questions come to me. So I get that.
Girl, you better say that. You better. Let me tell you, look, I got a perfect example. Last night, we're watching TV. Our daughter walks past us. He turns around and says, call Karma and tell her to come here. Now you sitting right there next to me. And I just I gave him this death look like. I said, excuse me? He said, call Karma. And I'm going like, what's wrong? You call Karma. So yes, I get, honey, why is there a dish? Why the dishes aren't done yet? Well, ask the kids, dear. I'm tired of answering questions because I've been answering questions for the past 3 hours waiting on you to get home. Now you want to come asking questions. But to elaborate on what Amy was saying, I'm jealous of the fact that you say Craig walks over stuff in the house because maybe he's thinking of a play. My husband, not only does he think of a play, but we have to keep mail in the house because he writes plays on every piece of paper he can find. So at least York thinks of a play. I'm looking for a bill and I'm seeing plays and I'm like, Lord, now I can't throw the bill away because he done wrote a play on the bill. So let me just go ahead and put it over here. Yes, it's got to that point. So I called myself buying him a notebook. Didn't work. So at least yours think of plays. Mine has to visually see the plays. Oh, was I not supposed to say that, dear? I wasn't supposed to say that. I'm sorry.
You said it now. I mean, okay. The last question I have for tonight, and I just want to tell y'all thank you for so much. I wanted there to be some enlightenment for people watching, because you all story is real. It's real. You all supporters. You all are backbone. We can't do anything without you. If you all are not happy, it's not going to work in the house for us. And coaching, we need you all. And that unselfishness that you all have really helps us to work harder. And with that being said, my last question before we go, and thank you to Jeremy Long, our producer, who's been showing them fabulous pictures of all of our families and kids, and the great part about it is I thank Nick for bringing me with him to Riverdale. So many people didn't know I had another life of coaching before I came to Clayton County, and then of course Lovejoy with you, Amy, and Craig. It's just a family. But here's my last question. I want you all three of you to think about this. And if you had a chance to hold a class with some coaches at a clinic, and you ask them to bring their wives, or prospective girlfriends, and those girlfriends were probably the prospective wives to be. Give me two of the most important things that you would like to part with them, for them to understand about the journey that they're about to embark on. It might be three important things, but give me those. And Amy, we're going to start with you. What are the three? Let's say three most important things.
I think that just embracing the whole being a coach's wife and understanding what their job is. It's a enormous time commitment, understanding that. Oh, goodness. Maybe the comforting of their low times and celebrating of the high times.
Wow. Yeah. That's deep right there. The low times, that's kind of deep. Yes. So, Amy, that is amazing that you would come up with those, because that's real. The low times.
Yeah.
That's real. Okay, Melissa, what about you? What three things would you give young ladies, prospective wives or fiancés that you had in the clinic just by yourself to talk to?
Well, I think what she was saying about understanding the commitment level, because I don't think that if you don't know who you married and what their vision is, what their drive is, and what drives them and why it drives them, then you wouldn't be able to survive in this. So I think that's important. It is a high level of commitment. I think of the word selfishness. I think that if I was a selfish person, we wouldn't have lasted because of the time that goes into it. I think that would be important. And, I think that we can't forget the word. I think the word ministry comes to mind because I do feel like this is a part of his ministry. I think even as educators, period, like it's a ministry. If you're a classroom teacher, no matter what you do, but I think particularly for coaches, and particularly for a coach like my husband, I do think it is a part of his ministry. I mean, I think as an eloquent speaker, he does well with that. He's had many speaking engagement, and me just being his wife sitting and listening to some of it, I'm like, all this came out of him, because he's not a big talker at home, but he's so passionate about it that he can put, he can kind of put a spin on anything and make it about football and equate it back to life. So I think that it would be important for them to understand that the commitment level that they have, why this drives your husband. What's the, one of the things he said is the why. I know you've heard that, Kevin.
Yes.
But, understanding his why, what drives him. If you love the man, then, you kind of got to go along with it, and, again, I go back to what Amy said about that strong, independent woman, that'd be the first thing I would school them up on. Is like, look, if you trying to be up under him all the time, you trying to check his phone, trying to see what he's doing, this is not the marriage for you, because he's not gonna be home. You're just gonna have to trust him. And if you can't, if you can't be at home with those children alone for multiple hours, sometimes y'all go on these coaching clinics and y'all going for the weekend sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and hotels and all kind of things. You know, some women not gonna be able to do it.
Wow.
And so I think that was what I would drive that home. Like, look, if you have not had this conversation with him the way my husband had a conversation with me prior to me putting the engagement ring on my finger, I think that's an important thing that couples should do. Like women should know going in, and it's up to the man to tell them, this is what it's gonna be like. This is what my job entails. Are you in it? Can you handle it? And if you can't, they got to make a decision.
Amen. That sounds like a public service announcement. Golly. Thank you. Okay, Coach Jones, Sheila Jones.
Okay, the three things that I would, say to any prospective coach's wife is, one, definitely, pinch yourself, check your skin, because it needs to be tough. You got to have tough skin, because you're gonna have to hold it down. The second thing I would say is, remember why you fell in love with him. Remember the good things about him, because there's going to be point in times where you're going to see this individual and you're going to see a look in their face. You're going to see a drive in them that you probably have never seen before, and think that you're dealing with somebody totally different, somebody that you're going like, who is this person that's in my house? Just remember why you fell in love with them, and know that person is still there. Lastly, I would definitely tell them, do not confuse their passion with an obsession. Coaching is a passion. I like to tell you all the time, you've always catch the hardness is because you're passionate about what you do. You're not a politician. You don't get into the politics of things. So you do stuff out of passion, out of the kindness of your heart. And so therefore, you're impacted deeply when things, they affect you. People, you're Bull Jones, but there's a part of you that's very passionate about what you do. And and I would just tell the future wives, don't look at it as an obsession. It's not an obsession. It's a passion. It's something that they love to do, and you're just going to have to love them for loving what they want to do. I think a lot of times, people will look and say, "Oh my God, he's obsessed with football. All he talks about is football. All he wears is football. Every channel is football. Every piece of mail has football on it. Things of that." And it's not an obsession. Obsession is a passion. It's a passion. So definitely the tough skin. Remember why you fell in love with them, and understand it's a passion and not an obsession.
Ooh, boy, I think I'm about 6'5". I know Craig. Listening.
You are, baby. Yes, you are.
I'm feeling 6'5" now. I'm ready to go win Friday night now. Ladies, I just want to tell you, I was so excited about having this show, because so much of what we're going through in these times, these COVID times, and I'm looking for joy, I'm looking for peace, but I'm looking for trying to spread happiness and understanding in ways to help everybody. And I definitely believed, and I felt like you all's voice needed to be heard. I know there's some viewers, there's so many people that respond back to my shows, and they send me a text, and they like it and they enjoyed it, and there's something that they get out of this. And I need it for my young coaches in this game, because me and Nick and Craig, we're on the other end. And these young coaches need something to nourish. They need food. And they need to understand that it does take a team. And our first team is our wives. So they need to know that, and so that they can get that part right. And hopefully the wives or the prospective wives will get it. So ladies, Melissa, thank you. Sheila, thank you. I'll see you later. And Amy, thank you thank you so much. I want to say a special shout out to Coach Nick Davis at Fayette County High School. Thank you. And Craig Chapman at Pike County High School. And thank you for them being the men that they are and being so much a part of my life. And when I thought about this, you all were on my mind. I mean, and I was just dead set on having you all come on because it's about relationships, and we've been together in some way or form. Without Nick Davis bringing me to Clayton County and Riverdale, I would have never gotten the Lovejoy with you all, Amy, you and Craig. So it's just amazing, the care and the love and the fellowship. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate you for being on the show. And who knows, we might do a part 2 later on after the season. And who knows, I might ring your number. Don't pick it up. Pick it up, Melissa. Pick it up, Amy. And Sheila, I know you'll be on set. You'll be in track stand. And Jeremiah Long, our producer, I want to say thank you so much for being the man behind the scenes to make all this work for us. Thank you, Jeremiah. You are the man. And thank you, ladies, for being with us. And for those of you all that have watched 100 Yards of Football Sports, thank you so much. If you enjoyed it, please share or like. Thank you so much, and welcome, and good evening and good night. And we'll see you next time on 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk.
Good
Thank
night.
you.